私はギルアッペンツェラーと申します。VMware のクラウドネットワークの CTO です。よろしくお願いします。Today I want to share with you our vision for the virtual cloud network. A very bold vision of how networking will look like in the future. So today's buzzword is digital transformation. It's actually much more than a buzzword, because there's a huge transformation happening in industry right now, where for many enterprises, where IT used to be a back office support function, suddenly IT is a core competency. And this digitalization, it changes the requirements for enterprise networking. The network that has gotten us to where we are today will not take us into the future. And that is because in a post-digitalization work, everything is connected to the network. We live in a hyper-connected world. There are lots and lots of devices with IP addresses that collect data. This data is uploaded into data centers and clouds. It's stored, it's archived, it's fed into machine learning algorithms, it's analyzed, and the results are played back to these devices. Let me give you a very personal example of how this looks like for me. So what you can see here is a network scan of my home in Menlo Park, in California, in Silicon Valley. And I currently, if you look at the scan, have 63 IP addresses in my house. Everything from my bathroom scale, to my stereo system, to my car, my TV, everything is connected to the network. It is truly a hyper-connected world. And in this hyper-connected world, the network has to change. And that's because the world around us has changed dramatically. It used to be that data center networking was nicely contained inside your data center. Everything was within the walls of the castle. You know exactly who's buying, who's deploying, and who's using the assets that you have. But today, apps are no longer just in your data center. Today, anybody with a credit card can start using the public clouds. Most enterprises in the United States today are already using multiple public clouds. And now beyond cloud, the edge is emerging as the new hotbed for innovation. So IT in this new world looks very different. Your data is spread around very different centers of data, as we like to call them. Your applications are no longer deployed on hardware, but they're deployed on virtual infrastructure where the hardware is no longer under your control. And the provisioning happens in an automated, highly dynamic way. For you, as a data center operator or as an IT operator, this means a lot of new complexity, new security issues, and a lot of new skills that you need to learn. But this transformation also changes what's required from the network. Traditionally, networks were designed for narrowly scoped applications. You would build a network for a data center, for a campus, for a branch. But today, my employees are working at Starbucks and they're accessing an Amazon instance. Clearly, this approach no longer works. We need a network that can run anywhere where my data resides, on mobile devices, in my branch or edge, in the cloud, and my data center. So what if we use the fundamentals of the cloud to define the network and the security model for the digital enterprise? That brings us to the next big question. How do we build such a network? Clearly, the classic paradigm of hardware switches that are individually managed via CLI no longer work. Instead, the architecture of the network of the future will look more like today's public clouds. You start with the question of where is your data sitting? Data, as they say in the cloud, has gravity. It's much easier to bring the network to the data than the other way around. Next, you build the network around programmability and automation. Manual provisioning is a thing of the past. It's not fast enough, not agile enough. And lastly, the network has to be delivered as software and as a service. And all of this needs to be elastic, growing and contracting with the demands of your business. So at VMware, we call this the virtual cloud network. The virtual cloud network is VMware's vision for the future of networking, to empower customers to connect and secure applications and data, regardless of where it sits, in your data center, in the public cloud, on mobile devices, the Internet of Things, or the edge. We're delivering it with the NSX family of products. So this is a pretty grand vision. Let me talk about how this actually works in practice. So to build this with NSX, the first thing we need is a virtual fabric. Today, most modern networks use meshes of tunnels that connect all the different endpoints, and the virtual cloud network is not any different. So secondly, with this diversity of endpoints and different scopes where the networks are running, security is going to be a big headache. And for the virtual cloud network, we want to take the approach that we design the security into the network from the ground up, as opposed to our normal approach to networking, which is first building a network, then afterwards retrofitting it with firewalls and intrusion detection systems. This time we want to get it right and build it right from the start. And last but not least, because we no longer control the hardware, all of this has to be delivered in software. So this has to be a software-defined network, from the get-go. So NSX for VMware has been a huge success story. We've had a tremendous year. We've amassed over 4,500 customers. And with the recent acquisition of VeloCloud, this brings another 2,000 customers and over 60 service providers to VMware. We've seen significant expansion in our partner ecosystem, as well as in our customer profile, spanning medium enterprises up to global multinational organizations. And we reached a significant momentum in areas like retail, finance, healthcare, and the public sector. We continue to focus on our practitioner market with a 50% increase in certificates in the last 6 months. This brings us over 13,000 NSX certified networking professionals. And last year, we launched our VMAC and vMembership, which now has over 31,000 members. So let me go to the next level of detail and tell you some of the ways how NSX is implementing this vision of the virtual cloud network. And I'm going to start with SD-WAN and VeloCloud. So today, for a typical VMware customer, the spend on communication can be as much as 1/3 of the IT budget. The large part of that is spent on fixed networks that's used to connect branches to your central data center and to your clouds. And it's not only the connection itself that's very expensive, it's also the equipment that's connecting this connection. We have routers on both sides. They're expensive to deploy, expensive to maintain, and are expensive hardware. With SD-WAN and VeloCloud, we can reduce cost dramatically. So first, we drop in cheap endpoints. These are small, inexpensive devices. You plug them in, they configure themselves automatically, start up, and connect to your data center. If you already have a server in your branch, you don't need any hardware at all. You can simply use that server to install the software-only version of VeloCloud. Once you have these boxes in place, then instead of a leased line or MPLS connection, you can use commercial internet plus maybe an LTE backup. And the VeloCloud solution will manage the bandwidth of this much, much cheaper connection in an intelligent way, prioritizing the more important traffic, having multiple queues, and potentially even using both connections concurrently if necessary. And all of this is centrally managed from the cloud, meaning you no longer have to send somebody there to deploy services in this branch, but you can simply insert these services for traffic leaving your endpoints by going to one central UI in the cloud, deploying it to all your different endpoints across your landscape. It's a very simple, very powerful concept, and we've seen a huge amount of success for it. We've signed up some great go-to-market partners, carriers that help us to deliver this to the end customer. And we've signed up great partners for services that we can insert remotely for the branches where VeloCloud is deployed. So let me talk about NSX Data Center. And there, one topic that I'm personally very, very excited about is containers. There's currently a big shift, specifically for companies that start to develop more and more for the public cloud, to switch from classic VMs to containers. And we're fully supporting that with NSX. For containers, you need a scheduler. We have our own with VMware Pivotal Container Service that we're developing together with our sister company, Dell Technologies Pivotal, and it's getting great traction. But we also allow you to bring your own if you just want to have your own Kubernetes distribution or you want to work, for example, with OpenShift. In all cases, NSX provides you with networking for the containers. New networks are created in fully automated ways. You have full visibility down to the container level and what's happening in your network. And probably most importantly, you don't only have visibility in the container network itself, but you have end-to-end visibility from the container network to virtual machines, even bare metal servers and connections into the cloud. Because the hard part, as always, is not just the isolated network itself, but connecting these networks with consistent policy and consistent visibility across your enterprise. Talking about the cloud, another exciting addition to NSX is NSX Cloud. And these are capabilities that NSX has to basically not only manage your on-prem workloads in your data center, but use the same NSX to manage workloads in Amazon and most recently Azure, giving you one management platform, one set of rules, one set of policies that spans your entire IT landscape, on-prem and public clouds. And last but not least, we have NSX Hybrid Connect. NSX Hybrid Connect is a technology to connect vSphere-based clouds. It can help you manage security and can increase performance. It's a very powerful tool for migrating workloads between clouds. So if you want to move from one data center to another, or from a data center to an MSP, or maybe to VMware Cloud on AWS, VMware Hybrid Connect can do this for you. And it can help you with such issues as different vSphere versions, which it can mask and still allow you to do a migration without having to upgrade first. So, putting all of these things together, our vision and the products you've just seen allow you to do networking across any platform, any infrastructure, any cloud, any transport, and any application. No matter where your data sits, what your center of data is, NSX is a platform that gives you access to it. We have a set of products on top that deliver the value. And then on top of that, we have an operational layer. With the network inside, we give you all the network analytics, all the understanding of your network that you need to operate the network. And with realized automation, we give the template-based system to automatically roll out new applications and new services in your network. We think NSX is the future of networking, and we're excited to help you move into the digitized world. Thank you.